You are listening now to A Word of Faith with Bishop Macedo.
Suffering and your pain. In your fall you also gain all the joy you had in life this world has drained, and it seems to have no end. Every dream you had has gone without a trace, and you've tried to find your place but found disgrace. Illusions turn to stone, and tears appear to fall. There's still one thing left to do. It all depends on you. It can turn the old and make it new. It all depends on you. Take a look at what you're going through, but still he cares for you. Surrender all to him and you will see. Oh, oh, oh. It all depends on you. He can change your life and take you high. It all depends on you. He can bring the sun back to your sky, and still he'll care for you. All you have to do is trust your life in him. Every dream you had has gone without a trace, and you've tried to find your place but found disgrace. Illusions turn to stones, and tears appear to fall. There's still one thing left to do. It all depends on you. He can turn the old and make it new. It all depends on you. Take a look at what you're going through, but still he cares for you. Surrender all to him and you will see. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It all depends on you. He can change your life and take you high. It all depends on you. He can bring the sun back to your sky, and still he'll care for you. All you have to do is trust your life in him. Whoa.
Anthony now lives a happy life with his wife. But he grew up in a harsh environment.
I was lost. I was addicted to drugs, involved in gangs, selling drugs. It was just a life of violent crime, in and out of prison, and just, it was all bad. It was all bad. Well, when I was growing up as a kid, my mom and my dad, they divorced. My dad was in prison. My mom found another man, and so that's when my life took a turn for the worse. My mom and dad weren't around. I was on my own. That's when I first started using meth.
With his father in jail and his mother living with another man, Anthony started consuming drugs at an early age.
You know, that's what turned to the gangs. I got involved with the, kids from school, and so that's when it just went all bad. I was seeking refuge in the wrong people.
Anthony joined a violent gang that became his real family. He mistook their hospitality and good humor for brotherly love.
When I hit rock bottom, I had just gotten out of prison, and I had nothing. I had nothing to come out to. Like, I had nowhere to go.
This lifestyle put him behind bars. In the darkness of his jail cell, Anthony wondered, when did everything go so wrong?
I got so far addicted into the meth that I couldn't pick myself up. That time when I did hit rock bottom, like, I just went into a room and I just screamed real loud and just broke down, cried, and for hours and hours. It was just terrible. It was terrible.
When Anthony got out of jail, a deep bitterness consumed him, and he didn't know how to get rid of it. He felt so alone until he met his future wife.
That's when I had met my wife, actually. Her cousin was my best friend at the time, so I used to sell drugs to him. And she was also addicted to the same thing, so when we met, we started doing the drugs together. The house that she was in, I started staying there too. During that time, things started to happen to me that never happened before. Like, I started to black out. I couldn't remember certain things.
Drugs brought them together. It would also be the cause of their separation. His wife gave him a last chance. They would get back together if he accepted help to overcome his addiction.
We had separated. Luckily, her aunt told her first, hey, let's go to this church. And so that was the only way she would let me come back. It was like, okay, you gotta come to church because I'm done with all that. Well, I want to change in my life too, because she just changed. You could see the difference in her. So I started to apply it. So I got to the church and I talked to the pastor at the time. I asked him to free me from everything though, not just, the situation that we're going through, but the situation with the addiction and all that. And that day is when, I just knew that, that's it, I was done. And I haven't went back since. 3 years down the line, here I am. So, I don't do meth no more. I'm clean off of the addiction. And my life's moving forward now. There's hope. Don't give up. No matter what you're going through, no matter what struggles you're going through, it's a fight. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be an uphill battle. You can't just give in. You have to fight. If you want change, you have to ask God to change, but you have to fight for it. Where I'm at now, I'm married. I got a beautiful wife. I got beautiful kids, stepkids who love me, and, it's just, from where I was to where I'm at now, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Now, Anthony is a new man. The intelligent faith guides him in his decisions, helping him to keep a happy and healthy life with his wife.
That's it. How wonderful. How God is merciful. How God is filled with compassion. The Bible says, for as the heavens are high above the earth, so great is His mercy towards us. It is endless. It is endless. My dear listener, you that are listening to this program right now, and maybe you are weak in faith, maybe you are facing troubles like this person, but it doesn't matter your problem. A sinner is a sinner. Whether a great sin or a small sin, a small tribulation or a great tribulation, suffering is suffering. Sin is sin, because sin is injustice. And God does not match with injustice. He does not match Himself with wrong things. Because when a person truly wants to be married with God, then they need to assume a faith. They need to sacrifice their own will and desires, because their will and desires always goes against God. Isn't it so? You know it. So, my dear listener, take as an example these testimonies and return to Him. Today, don't wait until tomorrow. If somebody comes to you and says, no, leave for tomorrow, or wait till Sunday. No, come. Come today. The service is for those who want and are in trouble, those that are in suffering, whether you are sick. So then come to the Universal Church today. If the problem is depression, come today. If the problem is in your health, it's in your marriage, if the problem is finances, whatever it is, the problem you're facing, God is the same. He can heal you from the cold, or heal you from the cancer, or from an incurable disease. He is the same. What He did in the past, He does today. It all depends on the person to return to Him. If you turn to Him, He will turn Himself to you. This is His word. His own word from His mouth says, return to me, and I will return to you. So this is how it works. Give and receive. Take my life, Lord. So then He'll take it. If I do not do it, so then He expects. He'll be expecting you to do so. And if there is no time to do it, because many times death approaches a person's life before time, so then the person will lose the opportunity they have to live eternally with God. So, my dear listener, learn from the testimonies you are listening to. Learn and put it to practice. Be watchful. Be watchful. Do not allow yourself to be driven by disobedience. Our emotions are disobedient. Our emotions always lean a person to be rebellious. Do not be driven by rebellion, because God's word is what directs you to green pastures, because Jesus is the green pasture. Jesus is the word for you to have and for you to obtain the happiness that you want. You need to take this action. We're going to listen to more testimonies of people's lives that were afflicted and hurt and troubled, and they took a decision. They took the right choice and accepted God's invitation.
Ashley is now a respectable mother who has decided to go back to college. However, in the past, drugs destroyed her marriage and her relationship with her daughters.
I started to get involved with gangs. It was filled with so much hate and resentment, completely destroyed. I was really angry. I was always frustrated. I was just so mean. I had no money. I had no job. Like, I didn't want to live no more. So it was all or nothing. My life before, I was an addict. I got in a relationship really young, 15 years old. I thought it was a better choice at the time. The relationship that I was in, I kind of just was filled with so much hate and resentment. I pushed my family away. That's what caused the depression. I started to get involved in stronger drugs. I started to get involved with a lot of people that sold drugs. I seen that it was an easy way to make money. So I left school. I left the job I had, and I went after the easy money. I was selling drugs. It was so much easier that I started using more drugs. As the more that I would sell, I would go to different states. I would go to different towns, and it wasn't just a little bit, it was a lot. I would leave my children with my grandmother because I was afraid to take them with me because of the type of environment that I would be in. You know, I didn't want them to get taken away.
Ashley made a lot of money as a drug dealer, but the secrets of her profession pushed her away from her family.
And it came a point in time when I got another relationship. that's when it was kind of like my very rock bottom. There was no money. Now I couldn't even sell the drugs because I didn't even have the drugs. I was so consuming so much.
After the divorce, Ashley married once again, this time with a man that shared her drug addiction.
You know, my daughter, she came knocking on the door one time, and I was completely like so high, and I was just angry, you know, and she interrupted me, and I remember opening the door so angry, and I was just like, you know, what do you want? And I remember she looked at me, and I will never forget. From that moment, she just like, you know, Mom, you're always stuck in the room, you know, you don't care about us, and it hurt me so much because I was helpless. And my husband, he had fell out a couple times, unconscious, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was wrong. So I kind of like panicked, and I called my cousin. I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I started thinking of all these things, like what's gonna happen with my kids, what's gonna happen with me, you know, what if he's dead? And he would come back to like conscious, and he wouldn't remember. He started to manifest. He'd become really angry. He'd become really abusive, really aggressive. He's never done that before. So I was kind of in fear, like what's going on?
The violent personality of her new husband made Ashley's life miserable. She wasn't going to stand by while her daughters grew up in fear, so she ran away from that house with her daughters.
I would literally not want to stay in the household. I would stay in a motel because I was so afraid of what was going to happen. Then my aunt, she mentioned about, you know, well, I've heard some, you know, things about this church that I used to go to.
Ashley's aunt recommended her a place where they could help her. Ashley didn't think twice about it. She was determined to start a new life.
You know, but all I knew is I needed help. I needed help, so I went with her. And now I have peace. I'm not angry anymore. I have a positive attitude. I'm drug-free. Like, I no longer suffer with an addiction. Things that I would start and never complete, I'm able to start and complete now. To like go to school, go back to school. I started it, I never finished it. And here I am now going back to school, and I'm going to complete it. I'm a very involved parent. When they look at me and they see somebody different. My daughter mentioned the other day, why are you going back to school? Why are you doing these things? You know, before you didn't even take time to sit there and speak with us, and she just went up to give me a hug. So when you're serving God, you're going to serve Him with all of your strength. And you're going to see that He's going to come and He's going to change, like, everything. And I see that God, He's with me in everything that I do.
Now, Ashley has a strong relationship with her daughters and a promising future. The intelligent faith helped her overcome every obstacle that was in her life.
Faith and intelligence go together. Although faith sounds crazy to this world, it's intelligent because it makes us know that we can be happy. Faith also keeps us from accepting a life of defeat and allows us to fight to conquer a life of victory and success. If nothing is going according to plan, it's time for you to use your intelligence and faith to bring to existence the desires of your heart. The Universal Church, a place of faith to change your life.
We are coming to the end of this program, and you that are listening to me right now, and that you desire to have a word, to receive a word. You need just a word to establish your life. So today, right now, if there's no meeting in the church, there's a pastor, bishop, there's an assistant, somebody's in the church today that will give you guidance, that will give you this word that you want to listen to, all right? We're coming to the end of our program. We are going to be back in the same time in this radio station. May God bless you, in Jesus' name.
How often, Lord, have I given you just scraps of time? Half-heartedly I've offered hollow praise to you. thought I had so much to do and desires to pursue. In my selfishness I just drifted away. When priorities unravel, the impossible can happen. The family we dearly love gets pushed aside. While I sought you once again, I remembered when we met, when worshiping you, Lord, was all my heart's delight. I worship you, let me run home into your waiting arms again and start all over to cherish your heart more than my own. Never let go of the bond between us both. Nothing justifies such a selfish life. I will never be fulfilled if I can't have you inside of me. Come on, Lord, take your throne as first in all my life. Nothing in this world means more than to seek you above everything that I have. I don't want to carry pride all my life until I die, finding pleasure in the world, yet barely knowing you. I want the heavens to be filled with the fragrance of my praise, to show the world the majesty of who you are. I'll create within my house a special room for just us two, and all my other needs will have to wait for you. I just want to worship you with all I have, and never more disgrace you, Lord, with scraps you don't deserve. Here am I, let me run home into your waiting arms again and start all over to cherish your heart more than my own. Never let go of the bond between us both. Nothing justifies such a selfish life. I will never be fulfilled if I can't have you inside of me.